From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.31 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,208 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,432. Antiwar.com reports on Wednesday, South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korea's Kim Jong-un signed a joint statement on the general improvement of inter-Korean relations, capping off a very successful third summit, which appears to have gotten the denuclearization operations back on track. In addition to denuclearization and peace talk efforts, the two Koreas agreed to found a joint military committee, which will be charged with maintaining communication between the two nations and prevent any accidental clashes. This is potentially a hugely important step as the two nations try to reduce decades of military tensions and negotiate efforts to move their respective forces away from the border as the efforts to negotiate a peace treaty advance. In addition to all the more important efforts, North and South Korea agreed to a joint effort to host the 2032 Summer Olympics. The two nations also agreed to unspecified cooperation during the 2020 Games. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports the Trump administration is issuing $1 billion in grants to states to provide treatment for opioid addiction, according to the Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar. The funding was expected to go to state agencies and community health centers to treat and prevent addiction and gather data on the crisis. Azar announced the grants in an op-ed published in USA Today. Azar wrote, HHS is taking a number of new, unprecedented steps to empower local communities in their fight. These are part of HHS's comprehensive strategy for the crisis, which is grounded in the best science and evidence we have. The grants include provisions to promote the use of medication-assisted treatment, including overdose reversal drug naloxone. Azar said doctors and scientists consider such treatments the gold standard for opioid addiction, citing a 264% increase in prescribing of naloxone since President Donald Trump took office in January 2017. HHS is also pushing telemedicine, the remote treatment of patients using the internet, as a method of treating addiction. Trump declared a national public health emergency over the opioid crisis in October 2017, calling it the worst drug crisis in American history. Some 72,000 people died of drug overdose in 2017, up from an estimated 64,000 in 2016. On Monday, the Senate voted overwhelmingly to approve a sweeping bipartisan bill to fight the crisis, 3 months after the House passed similar legislation. The Senate version of the bill includes more than 70 provisions to treat and conduct research on opioid addiction. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal judge in New York on Wednesday dismissed a criminal case brought against General Motors in 2015 over the largest U.S. automaker's handling of an ignition switch defect linked to 124 deaths. District Judge Allison Nathan approved a request filed Monday by federal prosecutors to dismiss the two criminal counts. In 2015, GM entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York after the Detroit automaker was charged with concealing information from government officials and wire fraud. GM agreed to pay a $900 million fine and accepts 3 years of oversight by an independent monitor. Federal prosecutors in New York told Nathan in a letter Monday that GM had complied with the terms of the agreement. GM had paid more than $2.6 billion in penalties and settlements, including the fine over faulty ignition switches that could cause engines to stall and prevent airbags from deploying in crashes. The defect was linked to 124 deaths and 275 injuries and prompted a recall that began in February 2014 of 2.6 million vehicles. GM spokesman David Caldwell, in a statement via email on Wednesday, said the government had finished monitoring the company. No individuals were criminally charged, but Chief Executive Mary Barra fired 15 people, including 8 executives, over the issue. This has been FPP Radio News, online at FPPRadio.com.